Hello, I'm Maxime. Welcome to my video about this solar eclipse. So I know that today is the full moon in Leo, which happens to be on my sun, exactly on my sun at 13 degrees. And so I'm embodying the yellow, the Leo, I guess. So yeah, so that's what this video is about, the solar eclipse, which is gonna be on the 17th of September. Excuse me, 17th of February in 2 weeks. And yeah, it's obviously the most important event of the month when there is an eclipse, because already we felt it 2 weeks ago. So yeah, hold on because I'm like a shy Leo, and so I need to warm up first. And now with all these planets in Aquarius, with this stellium in Aquarius, I'm feeling a bit cold, isn't it? It's heavy, all this stellium of planet across the sun in Leo. So yeah, but like I said, the most important things, because this full moon in Leo is like setting us up. It's part of this chain of events. Now we are going towards this main events, which are two eclipses, one in 2 weeks and then another one on the 3rd of March, I think. So yeah, this solar eclipse is an Aquarius solar eclipse at 28 degrees. And at a solar eclipse, they are fated events. And this is a 12 sign monthly forecast about what you can expect for this solar eclipse. And then I recommend that you listen for first your ascendant, your sun sign, and your moon sign. Because like personally, me, I listen for three, my ascendant, sun, and moon. And they all they all, they all show different aspects of our lives. So they all relate. They all are fine. But most importantly, from the events that will come at you from the external world, you will look at the ascendant first. It's most likely the most precise and the most accurate. And then your sun sign, it is also accurate. And then least of all is the moon sign. It depends because like me, I have the moon in Cancer, and because it's the moon in Cancer for certain reasons, it does works well. Uh, Also, I mean, it depends of many things. If you were born at night, the moon, you might relate more to your moon, and if you were born in the daytime, you might relate more to your sun. Anyhow, I recommend listen for your ascendant at least, and then if you want to, your sun, and then your moon. And the moon also is more about like your private emotional life that you might relate to with the forecast for the months. And then if you would like to ask me a question about your specific life, you can go on my website. That's what I like to do most. That's what I'm best at doing. I can answer a question. I use different technique. I use the horary. I use modern astrology as well. Different things. You can email me if you think that that would be best for you. And yeah, definitely check my services in the description below this video and click the link. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. And then without further ado, I will, if I can work this zoom out, I will now show the chart of this solar eclipse. Aquarius solar eclipse and the fated events that will happen in February and March. And the eclipse is on the 17th of February. So I'm going to do the 12 sign. Yeah, so bear with me because to be honest with you, this is my first time doing this a video like that on Zoom. So yeah, you see, so this is the new moon at 28 degrees of Aquarius. I have cycled, surrounded it with some yellow color. Uh, so first of all, before the 12th sign, this eclipse season is now starting. So tighten up your belt. I mean your seat belt. Because from February through March, anything can happen. And I like eclipses probably because Uranus is prominent in my chart. So what I like about Uranus and eclipses is that it's good to get unstuck, to liberate yourself from any outdated conditioning patterns. And also, eclipses are good to make fast progress out of stagnating old huts, as if God answered our prayers. Anything that no longer fit for the future can now suddenly disappear. And this first eclipse is in Aquarius. And the sign Aquarius is the sign of the military, air force, and outer space. It allows us to move forward and grow in our life with internet technologies and also social networking. These are all Aquarius themes. So as those areas of life are now under the spotlight, we are asking ourselves, who are my allies and who is on my side? Now there is a Aquarium stellium. The moon is there, the sun is there because that's a solar eclipse. So new moon also, and then the Mars is here, and we know Pluto is here. So yeah, there is a stellium, so that's why we have to think that Aquarius is ruled by Uranus and Saturn. And that explains why there are different kinds of Aquarians. Aquarius could be a genius scientist or a closed-minded individual, part of an old-fashioned and oppressive religious group who live according to a narrow vision of the world without questioning the facts about if the book they read is even true. Yeah, and Aquarius is made also of free thinkers who totally rebel against any external pressure to be anything that they are not. These Aquarians hang out with other similar alienated souls who are often political or cultural revolutionaries who push for social change and for their voice to be heard by the majority of people who just follow and repeat the patterns of whatever was done in the past. And who are mostly concerned about fitting in with popular opinion because they don't want to make any waves. They just care about fitting in and do what other people are doing. Yeah, that's fine. So everyone is at different levels. So that's why you see there's different type of Aquarius, because it's not often we hear Aquarius is eccentric, Aquarius is out of the box, but we can't deny the fact that Aquarius is also ruled by Saturn traditionally, isn't it? And Saturn is none of this eccentric. So yeah, what I mean is that in fact you can observe for yourself Aquarians rarely appear eccentric, and they can actually be very fixed in their own viewpoints. Another kind of Aquarians are social dinosaurs, and they try to embrace and resurrect some past value system from another epoch, like they want the 1900s way of life back into our modern time. Let's remember that Uranus is our long-term memory and the groups of like mind who make us feel secure. Uranus corresponds with communication and information, flash lightning knowledge. Yeah, flash lightning downloads of information. And now, to liberate ourselves against oppressing authorities, we must rebel and reject existing circumstances and conditions which restrict our soul's intention to live authentically and to follow our heart's desires in this lifetime. Also, it's worth noting that eclipses are points to changing times. They point to changing times. Plus, the most progressive Aquarius already talks about change. And if we add also the fact that this eclipse is at a late degree, there is no doubt that this means a change is long overdue. And the seeds planted now have long-term consequences. This is not about acting for one's own selfish interest anymore. With Neptune in Aries, we are advised to act for the greater good in order to succeed in our goals. And these eclipses are going to unfold over the next year or two because there's going to be more than one eclipse. There's another one next month, like I said, and then there's another set in August as well. Whatever happens at this eclipse in February now, it's part of a process because not everything will happen all at once. That said, events can also happen suddenly, a few days, a couple of weeks prior to an eclipse, or even on the day of the eclipse. Often, something begins and ends at the time of the eclipse. And then later on, we realize how important was what happened previously. So yeah, something small might happen or you just never know. Sometimes something happen, something average, and it's only like 6 months after you realize how actually what happened, how much of an impact it's going to have for the rest of your life. So what I mean is that don't be like nothing happened because sometimes you just don't, it doesn't seem like a huge event. But in fact, over time, you will realize that it was a huge event. In most cases, the eclipses are about endings, beginnings, and chapters of life that are completed, like turning pages. And remember, it's impossible to predict the outcome of an eclipse, but already we know it's unpredictable. Plus, Uranus is squaring. See, Uranus is here. It's squaring this eclipse. Uranus rules this eclipse. And it's squaring it. So, no doubt it's very Uranian. So that means that it's definitely going to be a wild card, this eclipse. Know that anything that Uranus touches by transit is also accelerated. So that means that things could happen quickly. So with a solar eclipse square Uranus, whatever is holding you back and restricting you from achieving your full potential will now get ejected from your life. Relax, because soon after a better replacement will come indeed. Welcome. Yeah, whatever is taken away at this eclipse is just because something else, which is more suited to your new self, something else will come instead. So there is no need to hang on for dear life when there is an eclipse. The best thing to do is to surrender and know it's for your greater good. Because free will is an endless debate. We all have our own beliefs, which is perfectly fine. According to my own research, I believe that there is no 100% certainty in life. We have free will and some things are fated, but not everything is fated. However, eclipse season is the time when fate is stronger than free will, because things we can't control and that we haven't seen coming can now happen, and they can turn things upside down in our lives. As astrologers, we don't make guarantees. We are leaning on the side of high probabilities, and more so at the eclipse when the North Node and South Node are powerfully activated. See, the eclipse, the North Node is here at 8 degrees of Pisces now, and the South Node 8 of Virgo. And Venus is on this North Node exactly as well. So definitely that it's going to bring a focus on relationship and financial matters as well. So I was saying that yes, it's fated because this South and North Node of destinies, they are now activated. So it's best to surrender and to trust the inner guidance of your heart. And know that an eclipse doesn't have to be bad. The eclipse is just reminding you that when your energy doesn't match your environment, then you will be ejected from it. So what are you going to do about it? Obviously, you can only be you and I can only be me. The thing is, Uranus pushes us to find the courage to follow our progressive impulses. So will you free yourself? Let's now see where this is happening in your life, because this is a new beginning in the area of your chart, wherever Aquarius is in your chart. And that will take a lot of time to unfold, explore, and evolve over time. Okay, so I'm going to start with Cancer. So if you want to look for yourself, you can check out this wheel is called the Thema Mundi. And this is not about what this video is about, but because I have the moon in Cancer, I like it. So the moon is the first sign in this wheel. And the moon is in Cancer, the sun is in Leo. Every planet is in their own sign in this order. So I'm starting today with this 12 sign forecast with the sign of Cancer, which in my location in London, coincidentally, the ascendant is at 0 of Cancer. That's quite something. And you think that the part of fortune is at 0. So part of fortune, it's about fated relationships. Some people say it's about fortune, but yeah, so it's about something fortunate in any case, or fated as well. And then we know 0 of Cancer is also a world point, like it's a strong point of starting action. So yeah, that's where the season starts, the 4 cardinal signs. But anyhow, now this video is about this 12 sign, and I'm starting with Cancer because it's good, because it's Aquarius, and it's good to give everyone equality. And why last time I started with Gemini, so why not start with Cancer? Especially, like I showed you, there is a actual famous wheel where Cancer is the first sign. Cancer, for you, my friends, this eclipse So we remember is at 28. Let's see, because we can surrender it, cycle it. It's here, right? And you are here, Cancer. That's so looking green, yellow and cool. So yeah, that's good. So it's in the eighth house. This is an emotional, deep, and hidden house with two main themes, a financial and a psychological one. The eighth house is like going down a cave to explore the deeper aspect of who you are. So with the eighth house, if sometimes it might feel like, it's where you feel the darkness and you wish there was more sunshine poured into this house, where maybe sometimes you hurt inside and no one feels your pain. That's where here you have to go into the dark and you will find buried treasure. If you feel that this is financial for you, then something can come up about your finances, the finances that you share with someone else. Maybe it's your business partner, or it could have to do with an intimate relationship. Also, this house relates to shared resources and assets, like your partner's income, if you have a partner, or over people's money in general. And at this eclipse, there will be noticeable beginnings and endings that start happening around those financial topics, which also includes loans and debt. And this is the house linked to mortality and especially the financial aspect of it, like inheritance and taxes. And then in any case, there is a death and rebirth process that's climaxing. As a result, you will deal with shared resources in a different way, and it's positive since you have not this before and it is something new. The eighth house, the eighth house has a lot of things involved in it. And also it's to do with matters of intimacy, trauma, unexpected events, and psychology. So this eclipse is a call for you to realize what's hidden and toxic in your secretive emotional waters. It's an opportunity to be real with yourself about the old skin that needs shedding and to connect with another person more authentically. The force of the eclipse brings all that's under the surface and repressed, or what needs healing, to your awareness, for you to face and transform it. So overall, Cancer, this is a focus on the renewal and resurrection of a relationship. And other people won't see what you are going through internally because the eighth house is private. Because of some out of your control circumstances in which you find yourself, financially or psychologically, you are now encouraged toward evolution of your soul, growth, and transformation. So for Leo, you can see this eclipse is in your seventh house. This is your ascendant here. So this is about one-to-one relationship dynamics, contract and projections, how you project your vision of your world onto others. Leo, remember, life is a creative journey where how you feel about what you do and having fun is more important than what your audience thinks about you. So you have to do what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel joyful, childlike. And then if over likes it, it's a bonus. But don't go out performing for others. If it doesn't bring yourself any happiness. Now it's a good time for you to focus on working and bonding with other people, to create some kind of connection on a one-to-one level, because this is the first Aquarius eclipse in this Leo Aquarius axis. And another series of eclipses will happen this upcoming summer in August. So that's powerful for you Leos, because it could be that it's going to be, it's highly likely, depending on which day you are born, that it's going to be around, around your birthday, around your sun, which makes, it's when you have your new solar return. And if you have your solar return, your birthday, basically, when there is an eclipse a week before or so, then that means that the upcoming year is going to be a very fated year for you. So there is going to be some kind of a new beginning and ending for you in your one-on-one interactions and personal partnerships. Depending on your specific situations, this is how it can manifest for you, Leo. First, if you are already in a relationship or have been dating someone for a while, then something new will come up between you and your partner, or something could end in your partner's life that will change the dynamic of your relationship together. For example, let's say if you wanted a child, then now you two might decide to go for it. Or you can start living together or getting engaged to deepen your commitment. Now, if you are single, it can mean the beginning of a new relationship with someone of an alternative personality. Someone that likes freedom. However, remember that if you watch the introduction, I explained there are different types of Aquarius. So we can't always assume that just because someone is Aquarius, suddenly they're going to be this, progressive, eccentric, open-minded person. I don't know about you, but like me personally, I can think of many Aquarius that I've met, and they are more like the Saturnian type of Aquarius, kind of narrow-minded. So anyhow, the thing is that is definitely gonna be a freedom-loving person with whom you connect, that will catch your eye and inspire you to liberate yourself from subconscious limiting past patterns, and to detach yourself from your subjective ego point of view, or to liberate you from some existing condition that hinders the development of the authentic you. So for everyone, this eclipse is about liberating us from whatever is holding us back from being our authentic self. With an eclipse in your 7th house, someone you are interested in can show up and a memorable relationship can start. However, if you have been in a bad relationship for too long, then now it could break at this eclipse. Or if it's not the end of the relationships, it's the end of a chapter in this relationship, when the dissatisfaction will be intensified and you and your partner will finally take steps to resolve your differences, or to call it quits. And let's remind ourselves that the 7th house also relates to friends that we love. Friends that we love, business partners, open enemies, basically any kind of one-on-one interactions. Even your clients, if your work involves doing counseling, for example. All this is seen from the 7th house. Since this first eclipse is opening up a series of significant endings and beginnings in the related sector of your life, in the next year or two, in the relating sector, so this eclipse is for 1 year or two, are going to be in the area of your relationships. So in the worst case scenarios, there can be, we know that Leo can be full of themselves and live at the center of their own universe, surrounded by delusion of grandiosity. This is a great time to show your good-hearted and most creative self, Leo, by finding a meaningful application for the actualization of your ego as you embrace your Aquarius polarity and ask yourself, what does the overall social system need from me? So that means that you have to use your need to shine and use your ego, for a good cause. And then you will shine brighter. Because Leo, you are the best, so no doubt you can do it. You have to confront your fear of being insecure. Then you will attract like-minded people who live as their Uranian authentic selves, because we all attract people of like mind. Leo, there is something that came up to your awareness or as an external event about a relationship. And this now needs to be addressed. So at this eclipse, you might have had a realization, something that itches, like something that bothers you about a relationship, that now you realized it, and now you just, like when you see something, you can't unsee it, kind of thing. Because you are progressing and aren't going to do things as you used to. So this needs to be ironed for you to move past the past and connect authentically with another from now on. Right, so this was for Leo. So Virgos, you can see for you this eclipse is happening in your 6th house. And I have drawn the square up, this eclipse is square in Uranus. So now you see it. Right, so your 6th house is about doctors, healers, health and lifestyle. And this also includes your employees, pets, and co-workers. In your day-to-day repetitive tasks and 9 to 5 jobs. This is all your 6th house. It's highly probable that a job that you do, an unhealthy working condition, or a daily routine will end, or it will really start to deteriorate. If it's holding you back from reaching your full potential and to take better care of your body. The 6th house is yours, Virgo, because it's ruled by Mercury. So you won't have any issues keeping any crisis or mess that comes up well organized. Somehow you will handle it. Ideally, if your job drains your energy, then you may be propelled to quit, or someone else could trigger the beginning of the end. I know it's easier said than done. Some of us have to pay the bills and we don't have the luxury to drop everything right now to live completely authentically. Although, if one finds the courage and if it's our fate to do so, the universe will have our back. It will guide our spirit to the finish line. Some things will perish, others will flourish. Since this is about starting new things in your workplace, like being promoted, getting a new but unusual job, or simply upgrading your daily habits. For example, you will start a new exercise routine, or you will start to eat healthier foods. For example, less fast foods and pot noodles, and more fruits and vegetables. At least this month of February, it would be wise for you, Virgo, to make good use of this reset by planting a seed for a better future and to experiment with alternative healing methods. Virgo, you like to show love by being practically of service. This eclipse is the occasion for you, Virgo, to use this freeing energy for a humanitarian, for a purposeful cause. This way you can be of service for the collective. Also, some kind of help in your daily work or a service you were giving or getting can be slowly approaching its ending. Take care, Virgo. Now we are going to do the next sign of Libra, which means that we have to do some nice drawing. Right, so let's just remove this, and then we'll just highlight this new moon. It's here at 28 in your 5th house, Libra. This is so great. Right, so for you, like I said, this Libra, this Aquarius eclipse is in your 5th house, which is known as a good house, lucky house. It's the house of romance, dating games, and how you feel, how you give and you express love. This area of your chart also shows your self-confidence and your creative works and investments. In any of these topics, an important beginning or ending will take place. This is amazing news for those of you Libra wishing for a new lover to arrive. And the new romantic chapter in an existing relationship is also highly probable. The 5th house has a lot to do with the theme of children. That's why the beginning and endings could be about your child graduating from college, or maybe they are joining a new sport team and so have to end being part of a school to join another. If you don't have children, all this applies to any of your own self-expressed projects and creations, or your love life, or I said your investments. I mean, yeah, so if one door closes at this eclipse, it's because a better one more suited for you is simultaneously opening. So, for example, if a hobby or your business is coming to an end, it's because another creative thing that you do for fun is starting to take up more space in your life. Or maybe your playful self feels alive by the new project you have in mind, or the new business that's starting to show positive results at this time. Bear in mind that every ending is followed by a beginning and vice versa. There are many chapters in the story of each area of our lives. Libras. So now I'm going to do the Scorpio. 1 second, because there's Scorpio. Right, so this is Scorpio. This is kind of cool. Now we can put some coloring. Right, I'm going to show you so I don't have to every time stop and do it. So Scorpio, you can see that this is in your 4th house, 28. This is this new moon solar eclipse. In your 4th house, there will be some endings and some new beginnings happening. The 4th house, first of all, is your inner world. Your home and your roots, your family history. Private matters about your home will come to light, either the home inside yourself or in your inner world. This will have an impact on your happiness, and somehow it's also linked to your profession or reputation. Right, because often, there's an axis of the midheaven and your IC of your home and your career that oppose each other. And so when one is impacted, then often it goes hand in hand. so because it's kind of common sense, because let's say often if you change job, then you have to change home, let's say if we relocate. So it's possible that both are activated for you, your profession and your home. And then, like I said, a square from Uranus to this new moon to your sign shows the busyness in your home and family matters at this time. And if it is not literally your physical home that is involved, then an event is unfolding in your emotional world related to your inner happiness and things having to do with the past. There is a slow ongoing process of death and rebirth in your fourth house because the long and intensifying transit of Pluto is here at 4 degrees. So the eclipse is activating this Pluto transit. Even though if it's not really close to Pluto, is still in the same house and with all this power, it does intensify the Pluto in the fourth house. So this is either mainly about your living situation, a relocation or a home move, or it's about your relationship with your parents. Maybe they need more of your help because of certain changing happening in their lives. And remember that Pluto is about transforming old outgrown structures and evolving them. In any case, your private life is where you want to be in the world. Yeah, your private life and where you want to be in the world is now up for a renewal. And that can be emotionally intense for you. Now I'm doing Sagittarius. So for you, the eclipse is in Aquarius is here in your third house. And this is a sextile, an opportunity. That's a good aspect to your sign. So it's a good sign. You will be busy with a whole new start in the way you communicate and where. You will be learning a new skill to communicate differently. Maybe it's a new language, or you are launching a podcast, refreshing your social media profiles, or even writing a book to teach others, since with the third and ninth house axis, the dynamic at play for this and the upcoming eclipses is the realization that the best way to learn things is to teach them to someone else. The third house is about our immediate environment, like our neighborhood. People we superficially speak with multiple times a week. And the transportation we use for short distance travel. Expect the unexpected during these days. You could receive a surprising message about your work or well-being. This can also be news about a sibling. And Uranus in your sixth house, squaring your third house. The relationship with your siblings or with people who are like family to you on a daily basis. It could be them who are going through significant changes and endings in their lives. It could be about you and your involvement in your neighborhood. Or perhaps your old mode of transportation isn't adapted to your needs anymore, and so you stop riding a motorcycle and get a bike instead. Whether it's a weekend study class you will enroll to, or maybe you purchase a new car, could be the arrival of a new neighbor or the departure of a sibling. Whatever it is, there is a beginning for you too at this eclipse. Even if you plant a small seed and it doesn't seem much at first, few more eclipses down the line, you will have made huge gains and upgrades in knowledge, wisdom, and in how you communicate in general. For you, Capricorn, this eclipse is taking place in your second house. This second house is about your income, your resources, your money, and your financial resources. This could be about you exploring and developing a natural talent of yours and using it as a source of income. So, yeah, there could be a new source of income, which as a result increases your self-confidence. Once you realize which circumstances and commitments are limiting your self-worth, liberation will soon follow. So you might already know about it, probably if this is happening now. What are your natural talents that you could actually turn into a source of income? Now it's a good time for this. How you make a living and the source of your personal income is going through a transformation. If your old job is ending for some reason, an alternative and innovative new way of earning a living will begin, and it will give you more freedom and newness. At least it could simply be about your possessions and how you manage your finances and how much you understand about the world of finance. This is a good time to keep yourself up to date with cryptocurrencies and the more futuristic monetary systems and potential alternative sources of income. This eclipse can also awaken your sensual pleasures and some power dynamics between you and others around money and what you possess. So yeah, for example, I know a Capricorn, and then she's thinking of like exactly that, not working any 9 to 5 jobs anymore, and then try to be self-employed using her knowledge that she already has about a certain topic. And so that's basically her own resources that she never thought of monetizing. And now she's thinking about doing it as to have more freedom. Right. Now, the next sign is Aquarius. So Aquarius, this is in your first house. An eclipse occurring on the week of your birthday means that this is going to be a fateful year for you. So obviously this is huge for you because the eclipse is in your sign. This eclipse is all about you because for you it's in the first house of your physical body and immediate environment. Your approach to life, your agenda, and your expectations. Overall, this means that how you present yourself in the world and your sense of self is going through a rebirth of some sort. As if you were shedding an old skin or an old identity, and a new version of you is emerging. This can be your appearance, like how you dress and the style of clothes that you wear. Maybe a new haircut. If you ever wanted to dare a new look, now it's the opportunity to do it and experiment. Take advantage of this opportunity for a fresh energy start that's coming to renew you. This is a green card to focus and prioritize you and your health, to improve the relationship you have with yourself, and to proactively take care of your body. That's a huge restart, something that ends, and also soon after, an upgraded sense of self will begin. So a new you will unfold over the next few months. And at this time, you are figuring out what you want in life and who you are in terms of your identity. So, like I said before, I think this is the first eclipse of a series of eclipses. And so this dynamic is at play until 2027. So you have time to like figure this all out because that's quite big when you talk about your identity and your first house. Your challenge is to avoid going to extremes either by focusing too much on relationships or by focusing too much on yourself. The answer to this dilemma is to find balance between those two polarities of Leo Aquarius. You Aquarius Leo over people, one-to-one relationships. So there's gonna be some back and forth of focus, and you have to balance both sides. You vs the other. What do you want as an individual? Focus on your own identity and also acknowledge how you impact others, how you can relate without losing your sense of self. So, happy birthday, Aquarius. And now I'm going to do the next sign, which is Pisces. So Pisces, as you see, this new one for you is in the 12th house. And Venus is in your first house and she's exalted. So that's good to have Venus exalted. And then, yeah, Mercury, I mean, that's another conversation, but Mercury is in Pisces and myself as a Mercury in Virgo and a Gemini. I think that, yeah, and it's going to retrograde in Pisces. So it's like some foggy, like confusion. Yeah, it's good like for romance and dreaming and art, compassion, creativity, but not really Mercury in Pisces for like organized, logical thinking. But yeah, that's not the point right now. But it's still good for you as a Pisces that Venus is in your first house, so enjoy it. This eclipse is in your 10th house, so major endings and new beginnings are coming into your life this year in your 12th house of spirituality, solitary and private activities. The 12th house is like meditation, therapy. It's where you have to surrender, let go. Where you can be in confinement. You know, maybe you put yourself there, or worst case scenario is when you are being confined by someone else, like hospitals, jails. And the 12th house is also about your hidden enemies a lot of the time. And the 12th house is also can be showing fame and can also show our career, believe it or not. There are some astrologers who have done some research on this. That said, the trick with the 12th house is to not chase what you desire, or else it won't happen. Kind of people who are famous with the 12th house planets. Yeah, these kind of people, you know, often people who have 12th house planet. If they are famous, it's because they didn't try to be. It just happened to them. They just did what, you know, was like purposeful, something spiritual. They were not like chasing ego, like materialistic uh, aims. So yeah, it just happened to them, if that makes sense. Let's not forget the 12th house is a Pisces house. Therefore, we cannot grasp it. It is elusive and inspirational. But is it real? Now, a series of eclipses are starting in this area of your chart that talks also about your health, because the 12th house, that's where we see mental health and places where people have lost their autonomy. The 6th house opposing it is more about physical health. That said, both are linked. we know that often physical illness is the result of mental, spiritual, and or emotional pains and illness that manifest in the tangible world. So this is why the 6th and 12th house, they are linked. So for example, if you do, like you're too busy working, like slaving somehow, like doing something that drains you and you overwork, like work alcoholics, for example, people that work, then you might get physically sick. But at the end of the day, it's because when you were working so hard, then you got a health crisis because you didn't have time to feel and think. Like there's different kind of body that we have. We don't have just physical body. We have the astral body, mental body, emotional bodies. So the 12th house is like these other bodies that aren't physical, and before we get physically sick, it actually starts on a spiritual, mental, and or emotional level. Actually, the physical illness is the last to come. Yeah. So that's why the 6th house is about physical health, and this linked to the 12th house. So this eclipse is the first trigger for you that is asking you to let go of subconscious self-undoing habits that aren't suitable for you anymore. And this realization can come to you while on a retreat or long distance trip abroad, where you are resting and relaxing behind the scenes. Or maybe you are studying and spending more time alone. This can also be you contemplating your life and meditating to take care of your mental health. And so this is a new beginning that is relating to any of these themes. There's also a lot of things like in the 12th house, like the 8th house, because these are like mystic, hidden, like houses. So there's a lot of levels to them. This, yeah, in the worst case scenario, the 12th house has a lot to do with hidden enemy who act against your best interest. That's about people who don't get along with you and you don't get along with them. So these two could come up at this time, and then you have to deal with it. Sometimes you might have to sacrifice something in the 12th house in order to, gain something, or in order to heal. That's why, again, I said it's about surrender, letting go, sacrifice. And a secret could also come to light with this eclipse, because it's putting a light, as if you turn the light on, a switch on, in what's behind your head that you could not see before. Or you suddenly realize what was hidden in your subconscious, and this creates changes to your health, work, and daily routine. Amazing. And now we are going to do Aries. For Aries, this is in the 11th house, this eclipse. The 11th house of friendship and of the friends that you use. Believe it or not, the friend that you use in the 11th house. And then I said the friend that you love are seen from the 7th house. So it's highly probable, Aries, that some new friendships will begin and some will end from now on. This is igniting topics related to networking in various groups and how you express your identity as part of a group. You will join a new group of people, make new casual friends, and meet more acquaintances, like superficial relationships for a shared cause. So this is about light socializing, not heart to heart, and one-on-one talks, like in the 7th house. This eclipse is supportive to sign up on a new social media platform. For example, in any case, it's a good time to redesign your online profiles and to finally get this community membership you hesitated to purchase. The focus now is on creating networks, communities, and forming new alliances via technological means. Aries. Another way you will be blessed by this new beginning is if you have your own business, because the 11th house is also about the financial gains that come from the income of the work that you have done on your business. So that's the 10th house, the second house of the 10th house. You see, it's the 11th house. 10th house is your career. So that will be the finances of your career. So that's why the second house of the 10th house is the 11th house. So the 11th house shows your income from the business that you own. And also the house opposite the 5th house can be your own business, your self-created employment, and your investments. And the 11th house is the gains you get from your 5th house activities. It's useful to know that any planet in the 11th house grows stronger as time goes by. The 11th house talks about the future of your associations with any group organization. And from the 11th house, you can also see how your wishes and goals develop over time. Anything in the 11th house gets stronger and better as you grow older. Like aging red wine, it's a maturation process that increases in value over a long period of time. Whatever it is exactly for you in your specific situation, only you know what specifically it is for you. Overall, you can definitely expect some growth in at least one of the areas of your life I've just mentioned. Remember that a new moon also means an ending, so something will have to end in order for you to begin anew. Aries. Right, now it's Taurus. Taurus, this is for you in the 10th house, which is also a major house. It's on top of your chart, where is your midheaven. So 28, 28, this is the eclipse, and Taurus is here. For you, the eclipse is in the 10th house of people or organizations who have power over you, like the government, your employers, and your parents. Or it can be the inverse. You as a parent, you as an employer, you as the person of authority. The theme activated, ending and beginning again here are also about your social status. It's about the role you play in public and for the public eye, your reputation, your true career success. By true, I mean your calling in life, how you really want to be seen, and how you announce yourself to others. So, unlike the 6th house, which is for you, the 6th house is Libra. So the 10th house is not like the 6th house. The 6th house is more the work, which is more something that some of us have to do just to pay the bills, and without passion or meaningless jobs. I'm not judging anyone. Like myself, I have to work a 9 to 5 job I dislike, and I'm still working hard to like increase my earnings as an astrologer so I can quit my admin job. Not all of us are living on our parents' allowances. However, there is more reward and more soul fulfillment in working to get something ourselves rather than it being easily given to us. Out of struggle comes wisdom. understanding and persistence, born out of passion rather than being like some who are just reading books because they have all the free time in the world and they are able to afford the most expensive courses. And as a result, they think they know it all, while in reality, there is a lack of soul and real life experiences in such commercial creations. Because it takes much more passion, dedication, and purpose to pursue one's goal against mountains of adverse conditions. This is the first eclipse, Taurus, of a series of new events about your career. So some of you could get a promotion on a higher level to make social systems much more equitable for all people involved is supported now in whichever way you can. Taurus, there will be sudden endings and new developments in the work that you do. Maybe your supervisors resign or you become the manager. It can also simply be a change of job or a new phase that starts in your actual job. If this is not professional, then matters of parenting are also in focus at this time. It's also about how you make a contribution to the world, to your world. This doesn't have to be in grand scale. For example, when I was in my early 20s, I was like low on my luck and I had to live into a hostel, I think, for 2 months. And we were 12 girls per rooms. And I used to work there at the reception and behind the bar. I was doing night shift just to pay my rent in this hostel. And there was no kitchen, but a Jamaican woman who lived there. She would cook multiple times per week in the evening, and she would cook in huge quantities, some home-cooked meal. And it was really healthy and good. Like, I still remember it. And that was like, I don't know, 15 years ago. And then, yeah, she would sell one plate to each of us for £1 only. Because obviously we were all broke in this hostel. So it was like a big party house. And we would just, yeah, it was like a party house. We were all like, a lot of fun, but yeah, we're all broke. And it was like a place you end up when you're broke, and you could just work there and then you just get housing until you find, an exit. Anyhow, so no doubt, the point is that there is no doubt that this woman, uh, she made herself a bit of pocket money, and she also made a big difference in the lives of all the people living in that hostel. So this can simply be about how like, what I mean is like the 10th house. I mean, even if you're a home mom, stay at home mom, like any little difference you can make in anyone's life, even if it's one person, it still counts, still your 10th house. If that's how you present yourself to others in the world, what you say you are to other people, and you say it proudly with meaning, with purpose. That's your 10th house. And yeah, the 10th house is what energetic contribution you bring to this world, especially if this eclipse is near your midheaven, the angle on top of your chart. It's a very important and tense event. And also, I mean, yeah, Pluto is on top of your chart, and so that's also important when Pluto is transiting your 10th house. And so the eclipse is intensifying the Pluto as well. So for Taurus, remember that innovating and making a change in your life direction is what can make you stand out in your profession. This is the time to go for an unusual calling and to do your own thing. If you've not started doing things differently already about the role you play in your social universe, this is the opportunity to start, as you will feel rewarded for being your own authority. Especially if you do so with the good intention of helping the collective. If you're not a career-oriented person, so remember that a small-scale action can still have a great impact at the eclipses. So, for example, one of my friends she's volunteering for a Jamaican flood charity, and she's doing something that she's never done before, like by running all their social media platforms, which for some of us it's easy to do. However, she's more skilled at making in-person speeches, so she's gone out of her comfort zone. But at the end of the day, her speech will reach more people online than in her nearby community, city, or even country. Because with social media, she will reach the whole universe. Like the Tarot World card, which represents Aquarius. This energy, it's about other people, it's about the whole world. You know, you have to think bigger. So try to get some exposure. Right. Next, I'm doing Gemini, and I'm a Gemini. So last but not least, for you, Gemini, this eclipse is in your ninth house. Here. Yeah, this ninth house of Aquarius is a fellow air sign, and this is good news. Also, the sun is said to be joyful in the ninth house of luck and good fortune. It said that the sun is stronger there in the ninth house. There is a lot to say about the ninth house, a lot maybe because it's a Jupiter house. And Jupiter is always a lot of everything with Jupiter. And this is great because this eclipse talks about fated events. Plus, the North Node of Destiny will be in Aquarius too from this upcoming September 2026. Now is the beginning of the end of waiting for the completion of any studies, graduations, certification, and educational programs that you've been attending and are still attending for another year or so. And as a result, Gemini, there is a potential boost to the manifestation of your wishes, hopes, long-term goals, your legacy, and career. That said, for some of you, it is the start of a new topic of study or long-distance travel plans. The ninth house is about mind expansion via going to foreign countries and meeting foreign people. Mentors, teachers, international publishing to a broader public, learning about religions, spirituality, and philosophies of life, higher studies, and the bigger picture of how you view and think about the world. Uranus is your unique subconscious memories, or like a radio receiver, we can imagine it as being naturally plugged into God's computer. This eclipse is asking you to get in touch with your authentic life purpose and to go on a new journey of discovery of something new relating to the theme I've just mentioned. Before any significant new chapter, there is an ending. Like in nature, when we see the seasons, you know, before the summer, there is the winter. The leaves have to fall before they grow again. The old must be uprooted before we can plant new seeds, which will grow on a healthier soil than what we had before. Old belief may be left behind as you encounter and associate with like-minded people who increase your sense of belonging. Overall, Gemini, keep in mind this is powerful because you can now change your belief and points of views about your moral code and ethics. You can take advantage of this by focusing on improving your foresight and your skills at traveling through your mind and emotion. Traveling through your mind and emotions. Because we can travel, isn't it a higher level of travel? It's also to travel. Yeah, through your mind. That makes sense. No doubt this is looking optimistic for you. It's lucky for you, Gemini. Because like the 5th house, the 9th house is also a fortunate house. This Aquarius eclipse is the first one of a series unfolding over the coming year. Like all 12 signs, expect major endings followed by new beginnings coming into your life right now. So that is it for Geminis and for this video. Remember that you can subscribe and like and comment, share about your eclipses, events, and anything else so we can all benefit from your experience if you share your experiences in the comment section of this video. And if you are taking something away and interesting right now from this video, then thank you for commenting and for watching and for liking. Now you can ask me a question via the link to my website and see my astrology services in the description under this video. And until next time, take care and best of luck to you all with this eclipse and enjoy the ride.